This is an Eye on Annapolis bonus podcast.
Well, joining us on the phone this morning is none other than Ray Weaver. And we've spoken with Ray several different times, but he is an international troubadour and a former Pasadenaite, or I'm not sure what they call them up there. But we only get to hear or see him a few times a year as he gave up that Dina for Copenhagen, I believe. But how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, John. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, man. For a Monday morning, I can't complain. Put both feet on the ground and let's get moving. You are here regularly to perform. I mean, and it is a homecoming for you when you come back in. You are from Pasadena. You did work for the city of Annapolis for several years, and you've been in Europe for, more than a decade now at this point. But we usually see you around St. Patrick's Day, so it's kind of a treat to be able to see you here in September. And you're going to be coming back to Killarney House on September 15th for a special night. And then you're also doing the Annapolis Songwriters Festival, which is just before that. That's the 11th through the 14th. Fourth annual Annapolis Songwriters Festival. Man, this is your fourth year here, right?
Yeah, I am very, very pleased and very proud that I've been on every one. And I just think it's such an honor to be asked to do it when you consider not only the quality of the national writers and the well-known writers, but the quality of the writers that we have right there in the area. There are so many great songwriters in our area, and I'm just glad to be asked and glad to be there.
Do you get top billing yet, fourth year?
I actually have a song about that called I Want to Get My Name to the Middle of the Shirt, because my name is all the way down at the bottom of the shirt. In fact, you might be charged with some sort of harassment if you try to see my name where it actually lands on the shirt. But I'm just glad it's on there.
See, mom should have named you like Aaron.
Exactly.
Something or other.
Aaron Acme or something. Yeah.
What's been your takeaway from the last 3 years? I mean, what makes you want to come back here for this event time and time again?
Well, I mean, beyond seeing, good friends, and even though, as you mentioned, I've been over on this side of the pond in Denmark for a long time. I mean, of course, I'm a hometown boy, and I used to make the joke back in the 70s, growing up in Pasadena, I used to make the joke that to try to break into the Annapolis music scene back in the 70s, first of all, besides a whole lot of talent, you needed a passport, because they didn't really want Pasadena-ites in there back at the time. But you were also there with guys like Dave Glazier and just the people that were there, Van Dyke and everything. So the scene has always had just such an element of just great, great, great musicians. So that's part of it. And now I continue that now with people like Dan Haas and Dean and all of Michael Coker and all the people that are there now. I mean, the level of quality there is inspiring. And then, of course, I spent years in Nashville and, working in the music business. So a lot of the quote unquote famous writers who happened to turn up are also buddies of mine. Chuck Cannon was there last year. Chuck and I are friends. They're just folks that I know. And I love songwriting, John. I love to hear a singer-songwriter do a song. And for Annapolis to have this kind of event, it's incredible. It's just incredible. To have that kind of talent on the streets of our little town is a very, very special thing.
Well, you are at heart a storyteller. And you always have been. I mean, it's, regardless of whether there's music that accompanies it, I mean, you are a storyteller, you're a poet, which songwriters and poets are probably kind of in the same category. So that's not surprising of your, thoughts about the music or the Songwriters Festival.
I always consider myself, and that's very wise, because I always consider myself more of a storyteller than anything else. When I was young, I mean, I've been playing music for a long time, but, early on, I kind of realized, okay, Weaver, you don't have the best voice in the world, and Eric Clapton has nothing to worry about your guitar playing. So you have to, come up with something that you can do. And to me, that was just tell my story. And at that time, it was a story of a kid with family of roots in West Virginia and Baltimore and Ireland, and then start writing about those people. So that was just basically my introduction to it was kind of like, yeah, I mean, I can give you a rousing version of Whiskey in the Jar or Hotel California if you want it, but the real heart and soul of what I do is just telling my own stories.
And we appreciate it. Well, I'll tell you, the Annapolis Songwriters Festival, as I mentioned, is coming in the middle of September. It's coming the 11th to the 14th here in Annapolis. I think there's like 30 different venues, and the vast majority of shows, which is really great for music lovers and especially great for those that haven't discovered this music scene here in Annapolis, they're free. You just walk into a bar, walk into a venue, check it out, stay for the whole set, stay for part of the set, stay around for the next act that may be coming on. There are some ticketed events, but you can get all that information at AnnapolisSongwritersFestival.com. It's very long, but it's very obvious what it is. And again, there's like 100 or so free shows, and the genres of music are all over the place. I mean, you're going to hear, really heartfelt ballads. You're going to hear some country. You're going to hear some bluegrass. The talent that we've got in this town, the talent that's coming into the town, some of the headliners, is phenomenal this year. So I do recommend everybody get out to see, certainly Ray, but anybody that you can appreciate the music that we have. And, really, this is just something that makes Annapolis, another thing that makes Annapolis very special there. Is there anybody in particular that you're looking forward to seeing or to catching up with again when you get here?
John, it's hard for me to single out a name because I like the whole bill. But one of the things I like to do, I'm an older guy. I'll be 70 this year. And one of the things that always is so inspiring to me, and you just hit on it, there's every genre of music that's represented. There's just so much music. So I like to go out and check out the younger folks. I love being on a round. Last year I've been on rounds with people whom I could have been their grandfather. And to hear young people working in whatever genre they're working in and hear them doing their songs on an acoustic guitar or piano and delivering that music, it's really hard to pick anybody. And I'll be honest with you, not just because I'm cheap, but because I like to see what else is going on below the top line. I kind of sometimes avoid the headliners and go to where the smaller concerts are or some of the free ones are, because to me, that's where you're going to hear the nuts and bolts. That's where you're going to get the soul. I mean, God knows we've had some great headliners over the years, Blondie, and just so those shows are fantastic, the ticketed shows, and you shouldn't miss those. But if you're looking for me, you'll probably find me Galway or 49 West or Stan and Joe's or something, checking out some of the young folks.
You said two things there in that thing, that you like to go and you check out the different genres and everything else. And I just saw the movie Highest to Lowest, which is Spike Lee's newest movie about a record label rap mogul whose kid gets kidnapped and everything else. I mean, it's real heavy rap music. My girlfriend was like, oh, I hate it. I'm like, oh my God, I was just absolutely transfixed with the movie. I loved it. And I remember one time running into my own kid at Warped Tour at Merriweather, and he's like, and there was one of those screamo bands, the, and he's like, Dad, what the are you doing here? And I'm like, okay, I'm not running out to buy their latest CD, but I'm here and I can appreciate the talent behind it. And I want to see it. I want to get that experience to it.
I can't agree more with you. I mean, I'm not, I've always been, I'm an Americana guy or whatever they call it, these guys. So, I'm that guy. So, I'm always going to want to see, the American, but I'm not going to lock myself into that and say, okay, when rap started first happening and my, folks my age are like, I don't listen to that. I'm like, well, if you think about it, it really is street poetry, kind of like what we used to hear back in the day. So let's just give it a chance. It's like you said, I may not have much of it here in my stack of LPs and CDs or whatever, but I appreciate what's going on. Of course, if I'm going to sit down for enjoyment, I'm probably going to go hear a guy like Jeff Steele, or of course, and Al is coming with his Pet Sounds band to do his Beach Boys thing. So, all of that's in my songline. But man, there's just no reason to diss or not give credit to what else is going on. It doesn't do you any good, but it's there. And I have very rarely. I mean, I live in Scandinavia, man, so there are Norwegian death metal bands, 3 blocks away. I'm not going to buy it, but it is interesting to watch these kids work on it for sure. So,
well, again, Annapolis Songwriters Festival.com. I don't think the full schedule is out yet, so I don't know that we can say definitively where Ray is, but he gave you some good ideas with stand-in shows, Galway Bay.
I've seen the tentative schedule, but I would definitely be jumping the gun to say where I'm going to be playing. But one thing I can tell folks, if they're interested, is that I'm doing a songwriting workshop at Maryland Hall. I believe it's on the 13th. Yeah, it's on the 13th, which is the Saturday. I'm doing a songwriters workshop there starting at 3 in the afternoon, from 3 to 5. And basically, it's for anybody on any level over 16. And as I said, if you want to take my workshop, there's only, I think, 25. It's free. It's free. I mean, but there's only like 25 spots. And I can't teach you how to write a hit record. God knows if I knew how to do that, I would have written a few myself. But what I hope I can show people is how to find a way into telling your story and talk about some song forms on a basic level. And then we'll have some exercises, and hopefully we'll come out of the end of it and everybody will feel like they've gotten something from it, and we'll try to write something together.
That's wild. I'm so glad they're doing things like this. Now, does everybody have a story?
I think everybody has a story, don't you? I mean, listen, John, you know me better than most people, so I've been telling stories a lot. You mentioned that I used to work at the city of Annapolis, and God knows I had to tell some stories while I was doing public information for this city. So, there's always a story going on somewhere.
There's no need to indict yourself here, Mr. Weaver.
Statute of limitations just run out, bro.
There you go. Well, if you can survive the Annapolis Songwriters Festival, and by chance, if you may have missed Ray Weaver, you do have another chance the day afterwards on September 15th from 7 to 9 p.m. at, of all places, which actually is a wonderful place, Killarney House Pub in Davidsonville.
Oh, that's my home away from home, man. That is, that's always been sort of my local when I was living there. Those fellows that run the Killarney House, they have been such great friends to me and my family, and I've been doing this show now for 4 or 5 years. It used to be called A Father's Heart. I guess it still is. The basic idea behind it is this is where you get to hear me stretch out and do the songs that I've written, and then do the story that may have inspired the song and or at least relates to it in some way. And this time I've got a bunch of new songs and stories coming up because I'm working on a new project that I'm going to be talking more about as it comes to more of a realized kind of thing and not just an idea in my fevered brain. But there'll be songs this time. I've got a new song coming up about Indigenous women disappearing in Canada, and just different story songs of a little bit more broader nature than just my own family stories, which are still a big part of it. It's tough with this kind of show, John, because people see it, so they want to hear the stuff they've heard before. But of course, and as an artist, you want to give them that. But of course, as an artist, you kind of like, let's branch out and do something new. Let's get a few other songs in there. So it's going to be a combination of that. And as always, my portion of the proceeds and the large portion of the proceeds will go to EMBOLC, which is a nonprofit which helps the families that have had children that have had mental illness, or what we traditionally have called mental illness. And these funds help the parents of these children, more specifically the mothers, get some education and some ways to help deal with that crisis that happens in families.
Well, I will say that the cost for this, and you can get your tickets at KillarneyHousePub.com. It's $40. It includes a full 3-course dinner and you. And $20 of that, it goes back to EMBOLC. This is a great win-win for anybody that wants to go there. And this does sell out. I mean, for those that have been to Killarney House that know this is going to happen in the dining room, there's a small stage in the corner, and it's a fairly, no, it is a very intimate room. I mean, it's got a great acoustics, but it's a very intimate room. So there's only about 70 seats. It will sell out. I recommend everybody do go get tickets as soon as you possibly can. And you touched on that. You said those guys have been great to you, and the folks that own Killarney House, they also own Galway Bay and Brian Boru and Pirates Cove. Don't think you're special, because I've talked to so many people that have worked there, and they just rave about their experience working at any of those restaurants. So it's not special to Ray Weaver.
I seriously believe that. I mean, this is a guy that's been playing around the world since I was 13 or 14 years old. I have never, ever, ever worked for better people or a better organization. I'm not going to bore people with my story and everything they've done for us, but they've been a major supporter of myself and my family throughout many, many years, just out of the goodness of the kind of people that they are. And I forgot to mention that this time, one of the things that's going to happen on the show on Monday is the great children's book author that lives in Annapolis, Nat Whiting, is coming to the show. Nat's going to be giving a reading from some of his books during the show. And if you haven't seen Nate, rather, why am I saying that? It's Nate Whiting, and Nate is a good friend of mine, and Nate is a great writer. His books are kind of like this great combination of Dr. Seuss and Shel Silverstein, and just really, really literate, intelligent literature for children. And he'll be there giving a reading as well, and he's donated some of his books to the cause. And I just, one of the things I want to do as I move forward is that, I think that this kind of community, having this kind of, I keep raving about the community in Annapolis and the community of artists. And it's time that even though I'm not there a lot, I want to be more of a part of it. And I want these things to be more inclusive. Us solo singer-songwriters, sometimes we get our head in an area that we shouldn't discuss on the podcast, but we forget to look outside. And I realize all of a sudden, every time I see Nate, he's doing great work in these great books. And I thought, well, why can't we do it together? Because this is all about, as I said, the children or the young people that have suffered from mental illness. And his books are all for young people and intelligent enough for adults to look at them and go, that's pretty good stuff. In the way of a Shel Silverstein or a Dr. Seuss was when we read them to our kids. We're like, hey, that's pretty good. I'm enjoying that. So I'm really excited about Nate being there as well.
That what I love about that is that you're constantly changing things up. Now, I've been to 3 of the 4 of these you've done, you said, I think, at Killarney House, and everyone is completely different. So when you're going to this, don't think you're getting the same old Ray Weaver. Yes, you are getting the same old Ray Weaver. Maybe it's a little bit older of a Ray Weaver, but
definitely an older one.
But it changes all the time, and this sounds really exciting to incorporate this, and it really seems very natural to me. You've got storytelling, and you've got it at 2 different levels, and they certainly do mix very well together.
Oh yeah, and he's just a great storyteller and a really, really good writer. He's got like degrees in education and stuff. And also, I should mention, probably, and I say this, with all the humility in the world, probably one of the best singers I've ever heard on any level, be local or national. I mean, this guy can sing. So I'm anticipating, I'm not going to say any names because I don't want to put anybody on the spot. So I'm anticipating on this year's show, we'll have some guest musicians stop by, because that happens on my shows a lot.
Sure.
So I'm sure we'll have some guest musicians stop by. And I think, pretty sure I won't have to twist Nate's arm too much to get him up to sing a song or two. So it's just more of an inclusive, I'm an old hippie kind of dude. It's more of an inclusive kind of thing you want to see. It's a hoot. It's an old hootenanny back in and I want this one to be, there's a lot of serious topics coming up. As you know, I don't steer away. I mean,
not at all.
Get in some spots, but I want this to be also something that people walk away feeling uplifted from, and not sorry that they went to, or not sad that they went to. I've had some requests from people that have asked me to hit on some subjects that are not going to be easy to hit on, but that's what people kind of have come to expect from me. As I always say, as an artist, it's not my job all the time to make you feel comfortable. So I'm gonna have all that stuff, and then I'm gonna have some lighthearted stuff and some fun stuff, and we're gonna have just a great community feeling up there.
Well, I will say the 15th of September is a Monday evening. It is a great way to kick off the week because, face it, Mondays usually suck. The show ends at 9:00. So us older folks, we can do this.
We old folks will be fine. We can do this. We can do this. And I always look at this. Remember last year I said, okay, I'm kicking off the Annapolis Songwriting Festival. Well, this year I'm ending it. And, and I think that I'm hoping, I'm not making, as I said, not making any guarantees, not making any promises. Some of the folks that I know that have come to the festival and they'll be there on Sunday, they may well come by on the Monday. And I know some of my local friends will be by. So you never know what's going to happen.
Well, again, $40 will get you in there. It'll get you a wonderful meal, probably one of the best meals out there. I do recommend, if they have it on the menu, the Dexter Burger. It's my favorite there. KillarneyHousePub.com. And I do, as we start to wrap up talking about this, I do want to say, while they do such great work with their people and their restaurants and their food and everything else, the website and buying these tickets is a little bit wonky.
You're not.
Yeah, I bought my tickets yesterday, and once you click off the main page where it says you want to go to see Ray Weaver, which everybody should do there, you're going to come into a thing. It's like order, and then it's going to look like you're placing a takeout order. If you look at the very tippy top, there's a small band of text, and one of them says like get event tickets or event tickets. Click that, and then from there on, it's smooth sailing. But it's not the most intuitive format when you're doing it, but the tickets are there. They're available. They're going quick. As I said, there's only about 70 seats. And you're not going to get a better meal on a Monday night than you're going to get at Killarney House. You're not going to get better entertainment on a Monday night than you're going to get with Ray Weaver at Killarney House on September 15th.
Yeah, we're well past halfway sold out, getting into the point where, and I know people will do this, and I've done this every year. I can't help you. Once it's sold out, I have so many. Oh, come on. I said, no, really, it's not up to me. It's up to capacity and fire marshals and how many folks they want to serve and serve with the kind of quality that they do. And when you're talking about the kind of food that they serve and what food prices in general are these days for a 3-course meal, you got a 3-course meal. You can have their famous potato leek soup, and then the entree, and then a
dessert.
Come on, really. The only thing that's not included in there are your beverages, and
tip.
You're getting a show that features me and like I said, other artists, and I'm going to bring it. I flat plan on this one being the best one I've ever done. I've done this show a lot, and I thought, I need to rework it, and as I said, been working on a new project, and I'm incorporating some of that in here. And I really, really think that as far as songs and stories and stuff, this is going to be one of the best ones I've ever done, including the inaugural one that we did back during COVID at the Ram's Head on stage. Actually, the first show I ever did of this was at 49 West before that, but the show rolled out in 2020 and during COVID, and we sold it out, and it's just been getting, different and better. And this one, I had to do a lot of soul searching, John, because I was like, have you done it enough? And then I was like, no, you just have to rebuild it a little bit. So, it's going to be a good one.
Makes perfect sense to me. Put that date on your calendar, September 15th, Monday. I will be there. I can't wait to see it. I also will be seeing you at the Annapolis Songwriters Festival as well. But after September, presuming that we're going to be able to see you in March when you come here. That's 2026 of all things. But what else is up with Ray Weaver?
Yep. Well, I will finish up. This is a really busy period for me. You're catching me right at the sort of, midway point, because everything in Scandinavia, everything here happens in July, August, and the beginning of September, and then things kind of go quiet. But I've got this tour. I'm in the middle of some other festivals. I've got a festival here in Denmark. I just finished up some work in Norway. I'll be in Annapolis until about the 28th of September, doing some pub dates and stuff along with the the Songwriting Festival. Then in October, I go to Norway again to do some more work there. Then I'm going to kind of be off the stage for a while because I have my radio show that I do, Radio Mars. And then, as I said, I'm releasing a new project. Hopefully I'll have that in place by the end of the year. So that's going to be mostly being in the studio and getting it up and running. And when I get that up and running, I'll certainly write you and tell you about it, because I think it's going to be something. I know that it's something unique. I hope that I'll be able to find an audience for it, and I'll let you know more about that as I get closer to it.
Jesus, Ray, do you ever slow down?
Not a bit.
Holy mackerel, Jesus.
No, why? I mean, people ask me that a lot, and I get that because I will be 70 in November. But it's, John, I have never, ever, I mean, maybe when I was a kid and I first heard the Beatles and said, oh, I want to do that. I thought about fame and all of that stuff. But for me, this is just always a labor of love. I love to sing, and I love to play the guitar, and I love to tell stories. And I can remember being, again, an awkward, funny-looking teenager sitting in my room and just aching for someone who gave enough of a whatever to hear me sing. And now that people do want to do it, I don't ever want to stop doing it. So they tell me, all right, man, you're done. I'm going to keep it up.
And I'm glad you are. You've got so many different songs, and I know that you change them up all the time. Do you have a favorite that you just sort of never tire of performing?
With most songwriters, that's a very wise comment you just made there. With most songwriters, you're always in love with the one you just finished. And I've just finished one. I mentioned the one about the story and song about missing Indigenous women around the world, specifically in Canada and the U.S. And there's a song that is connected to that story. Is called Haunted Road. And I really like that song a lot. One of my favorites that I wrote last year that did really well at the festival is Sometimes a Woman, which is a song about an old man taking a risk and mansplaining stuff to a young man. So that one is one of my favorites. I think I will always, always, always love performing my song Confession from my CD that came out in the mid-2000s. That song is basically, the 3-minute history of who I am. And so I like performing that song a lot as well.
Fantastic. Again, the Annapolis Songwriters Festival from September 11th through the 14th, and then Killarney House on September 15th from 7 to 9 p.m. It is a hot ticket. Again, KillarneyHousePub.com is where you need to go to get a taste of Ray. Outside of that, you want to go to his website, weaverwrites.com. That has it all, the music, the poetry, the musings. And, of course, you can follow him on all the social places, and I'll put the links, make sure and put them in the show notes as well. Always great to catch up and speak with you, and I look forward to doing it not on the phone, but face-to-face at the Songwriters Festival and at Killarney House. And just a reminder, when that show does sell out for Killarney House, go into the front door saying you know the owner or you're a friend of Ray. It's not going to work. As a matter of fact, that might get the police called on you.
It's not going to work, man. I can't help you, man. I really can't.
But
management has asked me to stress that because every year it happens. Yeah.
True that. Well, Ray, I want to thank you very much for your time today. Safe travels across the pond. We're going to see you in, I guess it's a couple weeks now.
Not too long now, yeah.
All right, man.
Thank you so much for having me, John. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Left some hearts broken, left some debts unpaid. When I heard that highway call or some other sad cliche, when they make whiskey a little stronger, highways a little longer, I might really reach the place I feel no pain. Till then I ask forgiveness for things I cannot change, and pity on a prisoner bound by his own chain. I wasted a lifetime on passion, sweet lies, till I can't stand face to face with my own alibi. Now the fiddler has his hand down, the piper stands unpaid. There's a child who bears the scars of each mistake I've made. When they make whiskey a little stronger, highways a little longer, I might really reach the place I feel no pain. Till then I ask forgiveness for things I cannot change, and pity on a prisoner bound by his own chain. Everything I've done to shake myself free when I got the urge to run. When they make whiskey a little stronger, highways a little longer, I might really reach the place I feel no pain. Till then I ask forgiveness for things I cannot change. When they made whiskey a little stronger, highways a little longer, I might really reach the place I feel no pain. So then I ask forgiveness for things I cannot change, pity on a prisoner bound by his own chain.
This has been a bonus podcast from Ion Annapolis. Please visit us at ionannapolis.net. Follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Ion Annapolis. And if you haven't subscribed to the Daily News Brief podcast, go for it. And all of your local news will be delivered to your phone, tablet, or smart device by 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday.